Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, coming to you live from a Friday night. Hope everybody's enjoying the weather out there. Um, we got a great show tonight, got a great guest on. As many of you know, we got to investigate his location last weekend. Before we bring him on, we just want to plug a couple of events we're going to be at. We will be at the Get Haunted Missouri State Penitentiary June 20th with Get Haunted, Next of Kin Paranormal, and the crew. So we'll be out there investigating June 20th. I just got told we are going to be at Galena Days in Galena, Kansas. That'll be from the 4th through the 6th. So come see us out there. And then August, we will be at Crypticon, Kansas City, the big horror movie convention. So come on out and see us. Get your tickets fast because they do sell out with all the horror movie actors. And we are headlining the paranormal portion this year. So come on out, see us out there, see the big horror movie actors. Then after that, we will be at the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo. My good buddy Kent Wilson puts this Paracon on. Aaron G. Thompson's headlining it this year. My buddies Outlaw Paranormal, the Wenda Brothers, and a whole array of speakers are going to be there. August, we will be at Bordertown Paracon as well. My dad and I are guest speaking there as well. So come on out and see us. And then October, come see us at the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. All of us will be out there. My dad, me, my cousin Kathy. So come check out our merch and equipment that we build, and you'll have a good time. Come check out the Haunted Museum that's going to be out there, and David Sloan will be there with Robert Tadal's sister. So come check that out. So my guest tonight, we're not going to keep him backstage for so long. He is one of the co-owners of Mortuary Manor. As many of you know, we got to investigate last weekend there. Very cool place. And we can't wait to go back again because it was such a remarkable place and museum. And Corey and Todd, great hosts. We thank them both for their hospitality. They were awesome guys. And without further ado, we have Corey with us tonight. We're going to talk about some of the history. I got some pictures to show them of what we captured. And we'll bring them on. So without further ado, please welcome my guest, Corey from Mortuary Manor. Hey, Corey.
How's it going?
Welcome in. You're sideways.
Hold on, let me
There you go.
do that. There we go.
There you go. So tell my audience a little bit about yourself and how you got into purchasing the Mortuary Manor.
So always we're into the creepy and spooky stuff. So we were always looking to expand our Michigan Museum into something bigger. And then when this place came available, it just made sense because I was also looking for a house at the time because we lost everything in a house fire. So it just made sense to be able to live here and then have a museum downstairs.
Awesome. So what is a little bit of the history of that place for my viewers that never experienced it?
So this is a 60,000 square foot building. It was built in 1897 as a mansion, and then in the 20s became a funeral home. It was a continuing operating funeral home up until we bought it July 31st of last year. The last funeral in this building was July 15th of that same year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I know it's a remarkable place. I mean, some of the stuff you guys collected over the years from different funeral homes is pretty remarkable.
We're the American pickers of funeral homes.
That is a good way of putting it. I mean, with all the coffins everywhere and from different places. And have you yourself experienced any paranormal stuff in
Uh,
there that you can't
yeah.
explain?
So yeah, we in the big chapel where the projector is. We were doing a podcast in that room, and all the doors on the outside were shut. There's nobody in the building, and it seemed like somebody was grabbing the doors, trying to open them, like shaking them. We had one of the embalming machines turn on by itself in the prep room. It was unplugged. We've had the elevator go from the top to the bottom by itself.
Oh wow. Yeah, we didn't hear the elevator, but my cousin Kathy and Jeanette kept saying they kept hearing something that sounded, like an air ratchet that you would take
Okay.
tires off.
Yeah,
They kept,
the elevator is very it's very noisy and it's chain driven. So it's if you hear it, go on, it's definitely you would know it.
and they kept hearing that most of the night because
I mean, I
Jeanette.
guess you could say that kind of could sound like an air ratchet, depending on because air ratchets some make different noises. So I guess you could like faintly it could resemble that.
Okay. Barbara Spear, she says in the 70s I worked at the birth and death records office where funeral directors would come in for burial permits. I got to know several of them along with the Urbanski family and the Winosiskis.
Yes, so this was the Urbanski Funeral Home. They're still in operation today in Toledo.
I, I saw that the later years, the Suns opened up another one in Toledo, and I saw they might have one in Michigan or something.
No, so Stanley Urbanski opened this up in the Depression era. He started it, and then in the by the 50s, he bought a bunch of land in Temperance, Michigan, and opened the Bedford Funeral Chapel, which was run by his son William, and
Okay.
then his other son Jordan ran this location, and they each had their own location. And then in the 2000s, Jordan bought another funeral home in Toledo, and he had two locations, and it just became too much for him to run both locations. So he basically just walked away from this one, and he still has the one in Toledo still open,
All right.
and
I know.
the one in Michigan is also still open.
Okay.
His brother's retired and living in Florida. It's run by his son Eric.
I did find a little bit of history about the church across the street,
St. Hedwig, yep.
about the riot that had gone on, and they were kicking out the head parish out of there, and the rest of them had caused a riot, and there was a couple of them that got shot and killed by police.
What year was that?
Trying to think of what year I read that. I think that was in like the late 1800s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this church, that church was here first. So that church was built in the 1870s.
And some of them bodies probably passed through that funeral home right there.
Yeah, they could have, like I said. Plus, you got also they did autopsies here too. So,
Yep.
so there's a lot of that too.
I know some of the activity that we picked up. We in that autopsy room. We started doing like a makeshift autopsy, like we were kind of role playing, like we were doing it, and we were asking Mr. Ubansky, "Are we doing it right?" And each time we would do it, our meter would spike, and then our REM pod would go off. And go ahead.
Yeah, I found a cat ball down there yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
It's either mine or Jeanette's, probably.
Yeah, it's in our lost and found drawer here. Everybody leaves something. And we got a trail cam, some kind of camera or something. It seems like every time I go down there, there's something. Somebody left something.
Was it on one of the tables down there?
Yeah, it was on the. I think it was on next to the embalming machine. Right to the right of the door, like on that little table.
That would be Jeanette's.
Okay.
Yep. And I know later on when we moved to the viewing room out there, my cousin Kathy heard something in the embalming room, and it sounded like something shifted on the concrete. And she had saw the weight scale was sitting there going like this above the mannequin.
Oh, okay.
And then the mannequin's legs were lifting up on the table, she said. So I walked in there and I headed towards the back where the body slabs are in that autopsy room where you have all the tools laid out. And we still had a REM pod sitting there. And as I got closer, the REM pod went off.
Yeah, there's some definitely interesting stories from different people in this building.
Your team that was there Friday night, they weren't lying about activity in that big embalming room. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a still photo, which I'm going to pull up here for you, that we're trying to debunk. As you see the rim of my hat, there's like a white thing in the rim of my hat. Now I'm wearing the same hat that I was wearing there, and it's all black.
Right. Yeah, that's hard to explain that one.
And then if you look at my right hand down there, there's like something grabbing my hand. I'm not having anything in my hand. All my stuff is laying out. I don't have anything in my hand.
Not like the picture by the coffin of the black shadow with the baby hand.
Yep. Yeah. And Jeanette just sent this to me today, and I got looking at it and trying to figure out what that is on my hat. And we couldn't explain it. I don't know. Maybe it's Mr. Urbanski coming to tell me to get out of the autopsy room. Or
Are the lights on or off in that picture?
They're off.
Okay, because it looks like they're on.
Yeah, they're off.
Okay.
We were in pitch darkness down there.
Because if you look behind you on the wall, there's like a bright, like orb almost.
Yeah, I don't know if she was using flash or not.
Okay, because it's got it looks like almost like a light behind you that on the wall, like where the tunnel would be.
She's in the chat. Jeanette, were you using flash in that picture? Because she thought she saw a body in her picture laying on that metal embalming table back there against the wall, but we were able to debunk that it's just a dark stain.
Okay.
On that one. But it's definitely interesting. Oh, she had it off.
Okay.
So there was no flash whatsoever.
Interesting.
Which that's known for that. I mean, I've seen balls of energy light up a room. It happened to us at Missouri State Penitentiary before last year, where it lights up a whole room and illuminates everything. Because the only light we had on was over by the stairs.
Okay.
and that's the only one we left on.
And you don't get a lot of, even with all the lights off, you're not getting a lot of outside light down there either.
No.
You got a couple of those like windows on the wall, but you're not getting a lot of light in there. It's pretty dark down there when everything's off.
Yeah, and we wanted to keep the lights off. I even went and shut the door because everybody moving around upstairs. So I shut the door to that room too, as well, to make it even more darker.
Right.
And just still couldn't explain it. And that's about the time we heard that shuffling going on in there when I walked in there. We heard footsteps scraping across the concrete. And then while I was standing there, I heard one of the buckets ding, like somebody hit one of them buckets.
Oh, the buckets on the bottom of the bowling tables, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for the most part, every team says it's the basements down there is where they get a lot of their activity.
Yeah, we did, even in the Airbnbs, they got activity. I got a text Sunday morning that the REM pods were going off all night in the Airbnb up there that they were staying in.
Yeah, so that was a nun's apartment, but before that, I mean, that could have been one of the 3 suicides happened in 1917.
Okay.
So those suicides were on that side of the on that, either in that Airbnb or you're staying at, or the across the hall where the tattoo studio was in the back half of that was another apartment. So
Missy Wade had a question for you. Has there been talk recent about moving things around and wanting to change the base layout of the overall build?
as far as what?
Yeah, you'll have to clarify, Missy, on that one.
As far as the layout of the museum?
She's a psychic medium, so
Okay.
she remote views quite a bit. So maybe she was picking up on something.
So in the casket room, were those new coffins that we got in there when you were here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. No, actually, they weren't. You were telling us about you were going to go get
so
them.
that room's been totally different than since you've been here.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
all those coffins are in that room, and that room's totally different now.
Yeah, you mentioned about changing that room.
Yeah, he changed that, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Did that kick up any activity, adding any more of those?
I don't know. We, like I said, we got some people in here now, team in here, doing something tonight, but we haven't had. I mean, I haven't, been down there enough to see if anything was, out of place or moved.
Missy said there is a feeling of upset that something disrupted the normal.
Well, that could also be from what happened Saturday too.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely upsetting the normal flow of what we do.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
And then with that thing coming up missing also.
Yep. Yeah, we're still not too happy about that.
No, and I was going to actually, I haven't had a chance, but I was just going to look around even more and see if maybe it got moved by, you know what I mean? Something got moved by somehow, maybe just misplaced it, maybe because I've had, the house I used to live in, we'd have stuff I knew I set somewhere and it was gone, like moved, and I'd be like, "Oh, real funny," and then it would mysteriously appear back where it was at.
Right.
So but I don't. I think somebody took it.
Yeah, her friend's the only one that she walked my dad to the stairs for that Airbnb, and she knew exactly right where the Airbnb was that we were staying at.
All right, and I said there's no way that other when you come up the stairs, the door to the left, that door was locked from your hallway, so nobody
Yep.
could come through the other way. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
if you wanted to go to Todd's apartment on the other side, you would have to physically unlock it from your side of the Airbnb.
Yeah.
You know, so that you're not coming through that way. And then if you go through the white door, that's my apartment.
Yep.
So the only other way out down from my apartment's the door down by the desk, and that's the other stairway to my apartment. So like you would have if they came up that stairway, they'd have to walk through my apartment.
Right.
And there's with the dog and that you would have definitely noticed something there. So
Yep. And I know when I went to get my dad, we shut the lights off to that hallway and everything. Went over to the other Airbnb, and when we come back through to go bed for the night, they were on.
yeah, that's what I said because like I said, when I went over to check on the other dog on Todd's side, that was on.
Yeah, and we turned them off.
Because you can turn them off either you can turn them off upstairs or downstairs. There's a little switch on both. But that, like I said, they were on when I went through, put the dog out, and then when I came back over, I shut them off.
Yep.
And then you said after that was like 1:30. So if you came after that and they're on, then how did they get turned on?
Yep, exactly. And when Jeanette and I went downstairs, they ran the other direction. So
Very
they couldn't even face me.
right. Yeah.
But all in all, we had a ball investigating the place. It's an awesome place, and
Yeah, like I said, it was 60,000 square feet. When we want to come back and we do something else, we can definitely get more than 10 people in here.
yeah, definitely. You could fit easily over 20 to 30 people in there at a time. I mean, if you're doing rotations, you're not going to trip over anybody.
We Erie Excursions. They do a monthly event here, so they do like flashlight tours. They do it for the people that don't have teams or don't have equipment. So they kind of like run ghost hunts for us. And last month they had 18 people, and you couldn't tell that it was 5.
Right.
They were pretty much going on their own. So I mean, like I said, we had 200 people in here for a Halloween party, and you couldn't tell there was 5.
Right.
Because it's so spread out. Because like you said, you can start a group in the basement. You can start a group, in the casket room, and then you could just rotate it.
Yeah.
It's big enough where you could not even know they're there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it should have been ran that Saturday. But we were trying to figure out what we were doing. We're all just standing there waiting on her, and
I was kind of confused too. If you're the host and then like everybody's just sitting there, I'm like, I gave my tour, so I didn't know what was going on. So
yep. And then I get accused of not honoring my VIP guests. I did honor them. We went out and investigated like we were supposed to.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how many VIP guests you had or who was who. So I know you took people down with you to the basement. So
yep, those were my VIP guests.
So yeah, like I said, you took the people you took down the basement. You were investigating with them. So as far as everybody else goes, I don't know who was who, what was what was.
And I think the only one that spent the night was that Chris guy. He spent the night downstairs in the embalming room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had a group in here a couple months ago, and they were doing something, and somebody slept on one of the morgue slabs down there, or fell asleep on the morgue slabs doing something.
Yeah, I seen footprints on the one and down there.
Yeah, I don't know if somebody was standing on it, or that could just be somebody, because people lay on there to take pictures.
Yeah, I know Jeanette's mom, she stayed upstairs with my dad because she was allergic to all that embalming fluid smell.
Oh, okay.
When she walked around, she got into them rooms and she did not stop sneezing.
Yeah, so I'm guessing there's probably residue on those tables,
Probably.
and then all those bottles are real fluid, so you might get a little bit out of that. But yeah, all them, even the group that wasn't there the last time they were there, they even said it, that they could smell it, today.
Yeah, and I know that one table still got some fluid still running down, dried on the side down through, and some of the buckets still have dried fluid in them.
Yeah, those, like I said, those buckets are, I don't know if they use those are old, so those are probably 50s, 60s. So
Right.
who knows how old that stuff even is.
I
And
know.
even the tables, who knows how long, the last time those were used too. I think one was fairly recent.
And I know I had a fluorescent blacklight with me and I was hitting the floor and you can see all the spots on the floor.
Yeah, the room with the dummy, you should probably, it would be, that room would have probably a lot of spots. The back room I don't think was really used for embalming, but who knows? Back in the day, maybe they did.
Right. Maybe when they were getting such a high flow of bodies coming in, they probably had to.
Yeah, because so they were doing 4 to 5 funerals a day back in their time.
Then we got a little bit of activity in the slab room.
Oh, the room where the elevator's at.
Yep, we had where the dummy is laying under the body bag.
Oh yeah, but it's not even a dummy. I think it's just a hand and a foot, and the inside there's nothing in the. I think it's just stuffed. I don't think it's a real dummy.
I found out the hard way. I picked up the plastic a little bit and his arm fell off.
Yeah, it's just the arm and a foot. Yeah, it was just, they did a photo shoot or something, and that was part of the prop, and we just left it.
Hey, it brings out the atmosphere down there. So
yeah.
And I laid down on that slab. We had a cat ball by my head that was going off.
Yeah, we got a lot of cat balls. I find laying everywhere, and they go off.
Jeanette says she has all hers. I'll have to check mine and see if one of them might be mine.
Yeah, it was a clear one.
Yeah, mine are clear.
Yeah. Like I said, it's in the lost and found drawer.
Okay. I'll get it when I come back out there.
Yeah, it's not going
nowhere. But yeah, it's a remarkable place. We enjoyed it, even though the event was garbage. We still had fun.
So I shouldn't put that cat ball on eBay as an Annabelle cat ball,
right? Yeah, that cat ball come from the Warrens Museum.
Yeah, Annabelle used this.
Yep, it was in Annabelle's case.
Yeah.
Which I bought those at Missouri State Penitentiary.
Yeah, I guess as long as you got everybody that you got, as far as what the event was, whatever. But as long as everybody else had a good time, that's all that matters. We try to make sure everybody has a good time, and if they don't, we try to correct that and give them the best experience we can give them.
Yep, and my group all had fun. They got to investigate and had their own personal experiences, and even Kathy, one experience I had, these guys didn't see it. I was standing there in that embalming room and I was looking that's before I shut the door, and I was looking straight through the door, and the hallway started blacking out, getting darker, and you could see this black mist coming in and come right through.
So now that you mentioned that, Sean Austin, when he was here, he was in that same embalming room, and where the dummy is on the table, there was a black mist that came like that wall, what went through that, right through that wall and like out that door.
Yep.
And he's got videos of, you can see it looks like black smoke or a black mist that just moved.
Yeah, that's kind of what this looked like, and it come through the viewing room, past the embalming room, and right past the autopsy room, and came right into the embalming room, and then just disappeared.
Yeah, this mist was in the embalming room, and it was going out that door, going towards the elevator into that viewing room.
And I couldn't explain it. I wish we could have caught it, but I may have. I mean, I was live on Facebook and YouTube, and I know several of my viewers that were watching that night, they reported hearing voices coming through.
Yeah, we get a lot of voices in different languages too, so we think it's, you know, it's the Polish community, so they think it's Polish.
And my digital recorder died within 5 minutes of being in there in the embalming room.
Yeah, like I said, the group that was in here the night before, they said their stuff was fully charged, and within 10 to 15 minutes it was dead.
Yeah, in the one chapel there where all the coffins are, and I was talking to the head guy there, his one team member went over to that ice coffin over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, set up a REM pod over there. So he sets up a REM pod. He starts to film it. His camera goes dead.
Yeah, we've had a lot of teams that, you know, they come in fully charged batteries within 10 minutes and everything's dead.
Carol Garcia says, great location. She was watching that night. I was live. She said, love watching the live show. She was one of the ones that were hearing some of the voices coming through. Her, Barbara. Misty says, there's a heavy weight on shoulders right now. It will lift. Just know it's okay, even though it feels too heavy. Don't know. But yeah, they were reporting constantly. They kept hearing, they heard a child, they heard a man's voice, they heard a woman's voice.
Yeah, we had one of Stanley's sons died in this building. He was a child, he was 7. And then one of the, 2 of the people that committed suicide were women, one was 19.
Yeah, I did read that. She was 19. Then I read there was a Civil War soldier that passed away there.
Yeah, Civil War veteran died of a heart disease in the building.
And then I ended up finding the nun.
Okay.
And about her passing away. And I think why she messes around with that Airbnb up there is because of how the Gothic horror theme is in there.
Mm-hmm.
With her being a nun, is probably like, what is this?
Right, but she didn't die here, so. But
if she was happy there.
Yeah. I mean, she lived here for 30 years, so yeah, she was definitely happy here, and she was definitely, you know, happy that we saved the building and that what we were doing with it. She was really, you know, happy that it was getting new life.
Yeah. Jeanette says, your cousin took a creepy pic in the apartment walkway. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to have her send that to me. They all wanted me to tell you hello, Kathy. She's driving a transit tonight. My dad says hello as well.
Hey, guys, thanks for the fudge and cookies and brownies and cupcakes and all the sweets.
I said we were going to make you fat.
Yeah, it was like a candy store.
Yeah, she spoiled us, that's for sure. We were eating junk food on the way back to Missouri.
Yeah, I still got fudge.
Yeah, I still got cupcakes left too.
Yeah, I think I got a couple cupcakes in the fridge.
I've been taking them to work and eating them.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I left one out on the counter, and an ant's got it.
No, boy. Lucky your dog didn't get it.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's he knows not to. The puppy, he'll get into everything, but the other one knows. He's actually laying next to me here taking a nap. Yeah, right before I came out, I went to get food, and he went downstairs, and he went. Those people turned around. He was right there. They're like, oh, you scared him.
Yeah, I know Todd's dog. He was barking at us like crazy. Todd says, "Oh, he's just all bark."
Yeah, he takes them out, takes them outside when the people at the liquor store linger too long. He takes them outside, lets them bark, and they disperse.
Well, we heard gunfire that
You sure
Saturday night.
that wasn't fireworks?
It may have been.
Because I said something to Todd about that when he got back. He said, "Well, he notices sometimes around a certain time it's fireworks, but it could have been gunshots. It's just."
Yeah, we were down there in the embalming room when we heard it, and then shortly after, we heard a hellacious fight across the street.
Yes, and that's normal. That's a normal Saturday night in LaGrange.
Right.
I mean, we don't really, the fighting was really not bad unless, I don't know if it's, who knows.
I figured they were probably drunk or something.
You get some drunken idiots out there that are begging for money, or they're just, who knows.
Well, that's like that guy that flagged me down. I'm looking around like, where the hell is he?
Yeah, you're like, hey, some guy has a card for you. I'm like, yeah. They come out of nowhere, Hey.
Yeah, he's just like nowhere. I'm getting ready to come in the door, and I'm hearing somebody yelling for me, and I'm looking around. Yeah, I'm talking to you. And then finally he stepped out in the open so I could see him, and I'm like, what can I help you with? And I kept my distance, and he was like, can I give you, are you one of the owners? I'm like, no. But I'm one of the ones that chase the ghosts in here.
Right. Another weird thing is that door you guys came out of the Airbnb that I locked when you guys left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd come back. He was like, hey, I just went up to Airbnb, turned the heat off. He goes, you didn't lock this door. I'm like, I locked that door. He goes, it was open. I was like, I locked it and pulled on it. It was definitely locked.
Right. Yeah, when I locked up, checked the doors Sunday, that one in the casket room, that glass door, that one was unlocked.
Yeah, that one's. That door can be locked. I just don't lock it because when you lock it's a pain to unlock it. So I just leave it. I just leave it half propped, so it's easier because it's a heavy door.
Yeah, it was unlocked, so I locked it back up. And
yeah, you get some definitely get some doors opening, closing, and stuff around here. Lights turning on by themselves.
Yeah, I remember you and I were talking there in the lobby there, and all of a sudden the lights started going.
Yeah.
Nuts right there.
Yeah.
And the rest of the building didn't do it. It was just right there.
Right. Yeah.
And that's probably all on the same power grid.
Yeah.
Kathy said after the REM pods went off, I felt like I couldn't move and I couldn't breathe. After a bit, it stopped. I felt so heavy myself, depression feeling. And she's going to send me the pictures. And I know when I walked back into the autopsy room, the feeling just changed in there. It kind of got like a little heavier type of feeling in there, and it
Yeah,
didn't feel like we were in there before.
a lot of people say they get they feel heavy down in that room, when they walk in there.
And that's about the time when I walked towards the back and that REM pod went off next to the tools. And then we had a meter on one of the stretchers there, and that was going crazy. And we were having a conversation with Mr. Ubansky down there on that. And then we got a woman's name, and then we got, I think, another guy's name, James or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that name doesn't ring a bell of people that were.
I was thinking maybe it's one of the bodies that probably passed through there.
Could be.
Gary says, I just recently saw a video of this guy staying at a haunted hotel and his bathroom door kept slamming by itself, and he caught it on video. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've noticed a couple of the doors, you shut them and they be open. I know the light in the bathroom up there in your hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there and the other light wasn't doing it. The one light just started going like this and pulsating.
Oh man, strange.
And it did it to my dad one time too. But me, I went in there and it just kept going like this.
Yeah, I mean that bathroom wasn't really. It's not really used. That's just like a spare bathroom. So maybe that's the light, that bulb, or who knows.
I don't know. I was looking because I used to work as an electrician, so I'm checking it out to see if maybe there's a short or something like that.
Right.
And I didn't find nothing. Missy asked, general question, has any of it followed you home? Because that would explain the heaviness on your shoulders. That would show stuff moved and lights on and off or off when on.
Well, I mean, it can't really follow you home when you live upstairs.
Yeah, and even for me, nothing followed us home. Now, if you're talking maybe about my cousin Kathy's house, her house is haunted. My house is haunted, and my house has got 3 confirmed deaths in it.
Yeah, we got 9 confirmed deaths here.
And then the land itself is 1800s because this town I live in is an old military town.
Yeah, I think we found out that there was some they tore some stuff down to add on to the building at times, so there might be more, people buried under here or whatever that we maybe didn't know about.
Right. And that could explain a lot of the activity too, because of something being built over a burial site.
Yeah, plus we got the 5 unclaimed people that are downstairs also.
Yeah. Which they're not happy that the families didn't come claim them.
Yep, so we claimed them.
Jeanette said I had something come home with me. I think I heard my front door open and shut and someone come up the stairs. Maybe she brought the little boy home with her.
Yeah, that's what Todd thinks that this because a child died here. That's a lot of the lights on and doors just says child being a child.
Yep, playing
Well,
tricks.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that was that child that Kathy caught that little hand in the picture.
Yes, that's weird because it's the child's it's a hand, but the rest of it's an adult.
Yeah. So
That in that picture, so that's weird.
I'm wondering if it's maybe part of Mr. Ubansky holding his son's hand when he was little.
It could be.
Plus, that child's coffin is right there too.
Oh, the
Where she
black
got
one?
Yeah, that black one.
That's actually an adult. People were a lot smaller in the 1860s.
And Jeanette says she's also finding white feathers.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. But I know we definitely didn't bring nothing home with us. Because I haven't noticed anything out of the ordinary than what's here. But Jeanette says she found 2 now.
2 feathers?
Yep.
Oh, maybe that's the feathers that tickled Todd that one night.
Do I even want to ask?
No.
Wouldn't feathers be angels telling you they are okay? Sometimes. I've heard that. But yeah, I'll have to get Todd with that then next time I see him about the feathers.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool too. Let us walk around, take pictures, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we enjoyed that, looking at all the history and stuff like that. We talked about it on the last podcast Monday when we came on. We were talking about our investigation in the place and telling people to check it out. And a lot of people, friends of mine that I've talked to, you may be getting more people to come out. Some of my paranormal friends are interested.
Yeah, like so we got the Airbnb. They can stay on site. They can sleep on the floor, sleep on a couch, sleep on the morgue, whatever floats their boat.
Jeanette said, I'm asking what happened to Todd with the feathers.
So he said one night when he was up using the bathrooms, he felt something tickle his butt with a feather. I don't know. I don't know if it's a running joke or that really happened. You never know.
So you got your homework there, Jeanette. Next time we see Todd, you can ask him.
Yeah, you could just maybe bring a feather with you and give it to him. Here, I heard you like to get tickled with teeth. Hey, for an extra fee, he will walk behind you and shriek on your investigation.
Right. Kathy says, sorry about the misunderstanding about the restaurant. That's to Jen, who threw a temper tantrum.
Temper tantrum?
Yeah, she threw a temper tantrum because we all went to eat before she even got there. She wanted us to wait till 8:30.
Oh, okay.
So she threw a temper tantrum.
Oh, well, when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah, I mean, you got older adults with us that need to eat because a lot of them take medicine and they
All
can't
right.
wait.
You can't have hangry people.
Jeanette says she's going to bring a feather duster for
Perfect.
him. Missy says, regardless of who and how and what, you have brought a community together and created an amazing space. I think that was toward you for creating Mortuary Manor for
That's
investigators.
hey, we're here to give people a new place to investigate, and especially in the winter when you have heat, that's a lot of places don't have heat, working bathrooms, Wi-Fi, air conditioning. So we have all that. So it's just, give people another space to do what they love to do.
Yep. Kathy says, no, the theme. Oh, did she tell you about that with Todd? Todd was
Mm-mm.
telling
Mm-mm.
her about the restaurant, the Pale Horse, and
Oh, the Pale Horse.
he says it's a horror theme, and
Oh,
with
she
his,
said she doesn't do that no more.
yeah, she
Was in her
does.
20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be that response from her is that would be a Todd response.
Right. Well, to her, it sounded like he was saying horror instead of horror.
Yeah, he probably was saying whore, trying to be funny.
And so that's why she said that back to him until we got there, and then she was like, horror. That's a pretty cool restaurant too, with all that
Yeah, it
horror
is.
theme and
Yeah, it's definitely they just they're opening another part. That part next door was actually theirs. They're opening like a little event center.
oh, nice. Because the girls were telling us about some of the paranormal stuff they've got going on in there.
Yeah, it seems like everybody says everything's haunted now these days.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that mind space with all that horror themed stuff. And
Yeah, like I said, you'll never see Mortuary Manor advertise anything as this haunted location, most haunted location.
yeah, it's better left like that and let
Yeah,
people experience it for
yeah.
themselves and make their own.
People can make their own mind up. They can go watch other YouTube, TikTok videos of other teams that have been here, see their evidence, and then they can see their evidence, and then they can come and make their own, conclusions from what they get.
Yep, exactly. And that's the way most haunted locations should be. I mean, Missouri State don't even advertise it as a haunted location either. They just say it's the bloodiest 47 acres in Missouri. And that's how they'll advertise it. They don't
Sure.
advertise it as a haunted prison or anything like that.
Yeah, we had the most haunted location in Michigan. Yeah, people advertising that now.
Yeah, you see it all over the place.
Yeah, it's not even haunted.
Granzer says, "Hey Russell, welcome Mortuary Manor." But yeah, I mean, it's good that you guys leave it like that so people can just go and experience it for themselves and then make their own assessment if it's haunted or.
Yeah.
Jeanette's going to see my cousin Johnny Zaffis tomorrow. Granzer says, apologies, I missed the beginning. How long has Mortuary Manor been researching what was his influence?
How long have we been open?
That's probably what he means, yeah.
Yeah, we bought the place July 31st, so pretty much I think the first team was in here we bought it on like a Thursday. I think the first team was in here on a Tuesday. So pretty much been doing paranormal ever since we bought it. But since that first team has been here to now, it's a night and day difference from what's in here.
Yeah.
You know, there was a little bit in here then, but not what it's in here now.
Yeah, when you manifest energy into a lot of stuff, you start making it reality and you start bringing stuff in. And I mean, teams coming in and out, they have their own attachments that they bring
Right.
with them. And I mean, spirit communication, you're inviting. So
And you also got to think all the, you know, we got the ice casket that had people in it, the wicker removal baskets that had people in them, the cooling tables had people embalmed on them. So you know, the stuff that's in the actual museums actually had, you know, dead bodies on them or in them.
right. Gary asked, "Are you familiar with the Devil's Tree in Michigan?"
I am not.
I've heard of it, but I've never really dove into it.
Yeah, I don't even know where it would be at in Michigan. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I saw that team that was there Friday night. They're from Michigan up there.
Yeah, Macomb. Yeah, they're gonna he's doing a book, I guess, and we're gonna be a chapter in the book, and then they found some more evidence that was really really good, I guess. So they're gonna come back.
Oh, nice. Yeah. He didn't think of it. He was going to ask me to investigate with him that night. And he's like, I didn't even think of it. He's like, I should have had you come along with us.
Yeah, you're there. You're already there.
Yeah. Jeanette asks, what has been the most wildest evidence you have gotten from the teams and yourself that has happened?
My personal experience would be the embalming machine turning on by itself when it was unplugged. You know, and then even if it was plugged in, you have to turn multiple knobs and flick buttons to get it to work. So, as far as teams go, I mean, we've had teams leave. We've had teams said they were touched while they were sleeping. There's teams that said they've seen apparitions and shadow figures. So pretty much a little bit of everything.
And Granzer said the Devil's Tree, if I recall, is by or close by the coast of where the Great Lakes Triangle is.
Okay.
I've heard, like I said, I've heard of it, but I've never really researched it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people mention it and some teams and stuff mention it. But I know Macomb, he messaged me on Facebook and told me about some of the activity they got there, and he said they started feeling nauseous and stuff and he had to pull the team out.
Yeah, they said they had a lot of evidence. So
I know when I walked through, they were setting up tripwires and everything up in the big chapel area. And I guess he's putting the video out on YouTube,
okay.
is what he told me. So I said, yeah, let me know when it's out and I'll definitely watch it and check it out.
Yeah. Because the more people that watch videos, because certain people would catch, you know, could maybe see a video differently, or see something somebody else doesn't see in the video.
Yep.
You could have 10 people watch a video, and they could have 10 people could catch 10 different things that the other people didn't catch.
Right.
So
Gary says, I know of several witches' trees in New Jersey, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Granzer says, question, what about Russell Reynolds tree in Missouri? It bears good fruit. Oh, he messes with me all the time on my lives. He's a friend of mine. He was in my live at Mortuary Manor, and he says, what are you doing live, scaring the kids? I says, you know I'm scaring them kids. I'm like the Nightmare Before Christmas. And I know that body slab, when I laid on that thing is freezing. That was freezing cold when I laid on that. I could see why they would put bodies on there.
Yeah, because them vents there were for the air conditioning units, and that air conditioning unit was just for that basement. So they had a separate air conditioning unit just for the basement to keep the bodies cold.
And then we started getting really cold down there. And that's why we ended up coming upstairs, take a break. And I was fine for a while in t-shirt, and then I had to go put a long sleeve shirt on.
Yeah, it's definitely get some temperature change in here at sometimes.
Yeah, we've noticed that the temperatures, it was like 60 because my millimeter tells the temperature also of the room. And it was saying it was like 63, and I had it sitting down on the floor, and it would go between 63 to 65, and then I thought it would drop because how cold we were feeling. It felt like it was like 40 something down there.
Right.
But it just stayed in the 60s on the millimeter. Granzer asked, what about cleansings? Your thoughts on them?
We've never done one here.
We did have a few spirits down there asking for help, kept saying, help me. That they wanted to leave, and we told them, you're not held here against your will. You're welcome to go if you want. Granzer said it was so cool and good to see Russell doing live research video. It's super rare to see him take us on that event. Truly interesting. And then we got, Jeanette, someone did tell us to get out down there too. Yeah, we got told get out a couple times. We think it was probably Mr. Ubansky telling us to get out of there. We were causing probably riffraff that he's probably still trying to work.
Right. Interrupting his work.
Yep. And I'm sure a lot of teams probably do get that too, to get out from him. And because especially with us, we were over there doing that makeshift autopsy, so that probably kicked him up a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially when they look back and the scale sitting there going like this, and
yeah,
we were actually acting like we were weighing body organs and everything in the scale, and I was asking Jeanette how much that weighed, and she says, I put the liver in there. I said, how much that weighs? She says, about 2 pounds. I said, it must have been a heavy drinker. And each time I would do that, the meter would spike up, and and I haven't heard nothing. I'm curious to see if any of my viewers heard any voices from there, like maybe him saying smart ass or something like that. Have you heard of a guy named John Santa? He's got several videos on YouTube, and he's in a haunted apartment, and he's been to a haunted cemetery. No, I never heard of that guy.
Nope, me either.
But how long you want us done? You want to do an hour, 2 hours
For what?
on the podcast? I always
Um,
leave it up to my guests.
Probably like an hour.
So yeah, we're getting pretty close to our hour mark. So, but yeah, it was great having you on. And people want to book Mortuary Manor. How can they get a hold of you? And
So we got a Facebook page, TikTok. My phone number's on the Facebook page.
then remember they got the Airbnbs also.
Yep, we got the Airbnbs, and you can just we got packages for that where you can rent that Airbnb and then come down and do a 2-hour ghost investigation or watch a movie. Your choice, or you do an overnight with the Airbnb. Your choice, or we offer the 9 to 2 a.m. option also.
Awesome. Jeanette said it was good meeting you and hope to see you again.
Yep, you guys, like I said, you guys are always welcome here, and we need to get another event going.
Yeah, I've got some ideas. I'm gonna
Okay.
get with you, and
Yep.
my dad and I've been kind of brainstorming.
Yep. I think we done the right way, it can be very successful for everybody involved, and give a great experience for everybody involved too.
Yeah, definitely. And then they can experience the manor
Yeah.
instead of that whole mess that happened Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't. I was just.
I don't
I,
either.
when you host an event, you figure you'd introduce yourself. Even if the person that came with her was going to do that, she really didn't do that. I mean, you're going to sit outside for however long and not, do anything. It's like I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, when we came back upstairs, they were sitting over in the corner in the lobby on the couch.
The funniest part, the whole thing was when she told me I couldn't do something in my own building. Okay.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that works out for you next time.
Yeah. I mean, it's your building, you're the owner, you can do whatever you want with it.
Exactly.
If you want to charge somebody $100 to come and investigate with us, that's
Right.
Yeah,
like I said, there was a couple of people that wanted to come, and I asked you, when you were there, I said, hey, if these people come back, do you mind? And you're like, no, so because you were the one doing the sting, so it's only right to ask you. So I don't, event or not, it's my building. If they want to come, and they can.
Yeah,
they're all welcome.
Yeah, they were rude to Jeanette. They were rude to my cousin, Jeanette's mom.
Yep.
Even that blonde girl that was with her, she was rude. She goes to me, do whatever you want. And I looked at her like, excuse me?
Yeah, that was kind of, very unprofessional.
I was like, you don't run me.
Right.
And that's why I told my group, I said, you're my VIP. We're going to go do our thing. Let's go.
Right.
We'll make the night out of it instead of a disaster.
Right.
But I don't get how she can operate a business and she don't even have a business license.
Yeah, I'm not too up on, all that, what you need to do what was. So, and especially in Ohio, different states have different rules and regulations. So,
Yep.
that's out of my wheelhouse.
Right. And I mean, if you're saying an event sold out, there should be tons of people there. That parking lot should have been full.
Well, I think it was when she booked it. She booked up to 10 people, which is what that's what she paid for, was 10 people. But I think it was a miscommunication between you and her of how many people and sold out. Technically, if it's 10 people, it's technically sold out, but you need to tell the people that you're, working with, hey, that we're going to have 20
Yeah,
people. So
she
you
never
when you
even told
like
us.
like your definition of sold out, mine and hers are different. Like you
Yep.
say sold out, I'm thinking okay, 20 to 30,
Right.
which is probably what you're thinking, and then hers is
Yep.
10, which technically it was for what she paid for, but it's not. When you're advertising sold out and you're looking at it, oh, we're gonna have 20, 30 people, and it's not. It's a little disappointing, when you're coming all that way for
Yeah.
that. But like I said, you guys made the most of it, and
Yep. We'll definitely get together and we'll do a
it, it,
bigger
it's
event.
it, it's it's always about the people you investigate with and the people that own the building that make the experience, not the people running the events at some of these
Ex-
things.
Exactly. And like I said, that event should have ran a lot better than what that disaster was.
Right.
I mean, you go to get haunted events and the way they run their events, everybody comes out with a good experience.
Even Erie Excursion, who does our monthly events for people, everybody always positive experience. They're always great to work with. You know, and then we actually had a couple people tonight that didn't come, and the one they messaged the one girl and she thought it was actually for tomorrow. And she goes, "Well, can she just come to the next event?" I'm like, "Yeah, she bought a ticket. Why couldn't she?" Goes, "Well," she goes, "Oh, well, some owners won't allow that." I'm like, "How? You
Right.
bought the ticket, like you got your dates mixed up. I get it. I guess there's no refunds in certain things, but like you bought the ticket, you should be able to just come to the next one you can make if you're
Right.
doing multiple monthly ones." So I was like, "Yeah, they absolutely can come. It's not a big deal."
Right. Exactly. And that's like issuing no refunds. I mean, if something happens, you should honor a refund. If somebody got sick or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, we do when we do our deposits. It's basically a non-refundable deposit. But if something happens, I just say, "Hey, what's your next date available?" We'll just roll that into your whatever date you want to go to the future. You don't lose your money. You just get to
right,
pick another day that you can
right.
come. So
We're like,
we're not like taking your money and running. You're just saying, okay, you couldn't come we had a lady that thought the 14th was a week later, and it wasn't. And she goes, "Oh, that's totally my fault." I'm like, "Not a problem." And she goes, "Is this date available?" Yep. She goes, "Put me down for that date, no problem."
right. And that's how it should be. Where, like, if you're gonna, like her, she takes the money, collects it, cancels the event, don't issue a refund. She claims she rolls it over to another event, but she don't. That event gets canceled. And then she just runs with the money from other people, and there's several complaints against her calling her a thief.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know her that well or know what she did. I just know the experience I had with her. So,
Right. And I mean, she didn't even have to be rude. You figure an event host, you're going to get up, speak, tell us what we're doing tonight,
right.
not not just sit there or be outside on the phone complaining.
Right. Yeah. I didn't understand that, but like I said, that's the whatever. I didn't know if that was something that, she already talk to you about with that, like, hey, when these people get here, you take your guys and just go, and
Nope.
like I didn't like I have no idea what she was even doing. So
Yeah, there was no instruction. She didn't nothing. She was mad because of the Airbnbs were booked and they were to have to
she
sleep
knew
on the
that
floor.
she knew they were available when she originally booked the event, and you guys called and wanted to book a Airbnb. What am I going to say? No, you're sleeping on the floor.
Right.
because you booked an overnight on this group. No, that you can still have book an overnight investigation and the Airbnb, which is additional, because the overnight just gives you more time to investigate.
Yep.
So I don't know why you're mad because somebody decided to sleep in the Airbnb. I'm like, and she goes, I didn't know there was couches. I'm like, no, you didn't ask. I'm pretty sure I told you there was multiple couches.
Right. And you figure she would have checked up on all that before she even booked an event.
Right.
So she knows all the details. And
We've had people not book events. They've actually came for a tour before they booked events to look at the space. So, that's always an option too. For people, if they want to come do a tour and then book it later, that's fine too.
exactly. I mean, get the layout of the land first.
Worst case, if you can't come for a tour, you can always FaceTime me and I can do a visual tour with my phone, walking through the whole building. So,
right.
It's whatever people need to or information. You can email. It's mortuarymanor@gmail. Any questions you got, I can answer. Any concerns.
Right.
Before you book, we'll answer all your questions.
Right. Well, we hit our hour mark, so we're going to get ready to wrap up here. I thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And I look forward to seeing you again, coming out to investigate again.
Yeah.
And
sounds good.
I'll be in touch with you and we'll get something set up. And
okay. Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to put you backstage for a minute and I'm going to close the show out. And I'll see you in a minute.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope you found the show good and informative. And definitely check out Mortuary Manor. Book an event, book a tour. Great place, great people. They treated us really good with their hospitality and stuff. Even trusted us with keys to the building. So that should show you something. They're good people, him and Todd. Even the tattoo artist that's going to be there. So eventually you'll be able to get a tattoo. So that being said, remember, if you're being bullied in the paranormal field, you do have a voice. Nobody's better than anybody in this field. We're off to the same common goal to prove the existence of life after death. So with that being said, everybody have a good night, and we will see you Sunday. My dad and I will, and Carol Garcia and Rebecca. So see you Sunday night. Have a good night, everyone. God bless. Stay safe out there if you're investigating this weekend.